It got surprisingly quiet around Trump's meme coin. Initially there was the launch, the price went to the moon, subsequently we got the deleveraging. The question is, does it make sense now to buy this bottom? Both trading volume is down, but also is the price. Now let's have a look at the on-chain data, the data most people are not considering. Trump's meme coin is still very much a major player on Solana. And that's actually an understatement. What we've got over here are the trending tokens on the Solana chain ordered by their liquidity pool size. And of course, number one is official Trump with 677 million. Number two is then Melania, but have a look at what's at number three. It's Fartcoin. And that's less than 1/20th the size of Trump. Trump is still dominating everything. Now, it's not just the liquidity that's out of this world. It was also the attention upon launch that was pretty much above everything else. Have a look at the first video on the official Trump token that was published on this channel. The video got 8.5 times the views of an average video on this channel. And that was when the price was at $13. So that was very early on, just a few hours after launch. And we subsequently went up by almost 500% to then deflate. This crash over here, this was the Melania Trump token launch. And so it looks like there might be some kind of a floor that's forming. Is buying today a bet of little risk versus a lot of potential upside? That's a big question that we're trying to answer in this video. Now, Trump had quite some impact on the market. A lot of new money was flowing in. So this is the stablecoin market cap over time, which is increasing since October of 2023. And where money flows from traditional finance into crypto, that gets reflected via stablecoin issuance. But also the other ways, that gets reflected via stablecoin issuance. But also the other direction is true. When people get scared of crypto, right, when FTX collapsed and people wanted to take their money out of crypto and put this into regular fiat again, that's then when the stablecoin market cap goes down. So Trump clearly had a net positive impact on crypto, even though the price isn't necessarily that encouraging for the late adopters. But yeah, if you had been early, if you followed channels like this and you bought with the publishing of that first video, you'd still be in profit more than 3x. Now on-chain, on the Solana blockchain, we've got now almost 800,000 holders of the official Trump token. Or to be more precise, it's 787,559 wallets that hold the token. But not all of those holders are of course organic. There are a lot of trading bots as well that just hold a few cents of the token. So we have to look at this in a bit more detail. Attention is clearly dying down. Yesterday, we only had 15,000 new wallets that bought the token. On the day of the launch, that was more than 500,000. The number of token transactions also tends to rather go down. It's not just the number of users and transactions that is going down. It's also the trading volume. Every day, there's less and less trading volume on chain. And it seems like more and more of the trading volume is now allocated towards the smaller wallets. So the large retail wallets and the whales, they transact less and less on chain. Now, there are two reasons why somebody would buy the token. The first reason is simply to hold it to hope for an appreciating price. This is what most retail people are doing. But the second reason, and this is more dominated by the whales, is to earn money from swapping fees. So people buy the Trump token and have maybe USDC. They deploy this both into a liquidity pool and then they get trading fees accumulated when that capital is deployed. The more transactions there are relative to the deployed capital, the more APR those liquidity providers get. And that's probably one of the reasons why the whales are getting out of the game, simply because the trading volume is now that low. Just have a look at this. Fartcoin, for example, had 4 times the trading volume compared to its liquidity. The Penguin token had 2.5 times trading volume relative to liquidity. But the official Trump token only had 133 million of trading volume relative to 700 million of liquidity. So maybe 1/5 roughly of the liquidity that's provided. In other words, the people that currently hold Trump in a liquidity pool to earn money from the trading fees, they don't get that much now. Those whales rather hold Fartcoin and then get a much nicer APR on this. Now, the Trump meme coin launch brought a lot of new attention to crypto, and with it also a lot of new people that bought the token that had nothing to do with crypto beforehand. Now, unfortunately, a lot of those people had been relatively late to the party, but we can also see what was the demand of those people. Because have a look at the website. The token cannot only be bought on chain via this contract address, it can also be bought via debit card, and that's through a platform called moonshot.money. And here's the trading volume of Moonshot. There was a lot of demand in the first hours, and then that peaked 6 hours after launch. Since then it rather slowed down. We can also see how this comes in waves. That's when America tends to sleep. So the small retail investor is not trading during night hours, right? This is when the automated professional traders are trading. On this chart we can see the split up for buying versus selling volume, and initially it was all just purchases, and then after a few hours there were the first sales that happened. We can see the net buying versus selling on this black chart, and now most of the days we rather tend to see selling from Moonshot. So there was a wave of buyers that then sold the subsequent day, and then the second wave of buyers, they are now all in the losses and they continue selling. As in, on average, it's maybe around $500K US per hour, but still, the small retail investor that buys the token via credit card is in losses and rather sells now. Now, when the price stays stable, and this seems to be the case, what does this tell us? I think this tells us that the whales tend to now buy at those lower levels. If the price doesn't go down while retail tends to sell, that means the whales tend to rather buy. Somebody has to be buying here, right? Otherwise we would simply continue declining. But let's have a look at the number of retail investors versus medium-sized investors versus whale investors versus mega whales. Let's see how this is actually changing over time. I like to look at those kind of charts pretty much for any video on this channel. So if you look at any kind of meme coin analysis over here, you'll always see those kind of charts. And so on the left side, we see the number of wallets that have at least 30 Trump tokens. In the middle, it's 300 Trump tokens. On the right, it's 3,000 Trump tokens. And since the Trump token is now currently at a bit over $30, this equates to $1,000, $10,000 and $100,000. A lot of accumulation on the very first day, and since then the number of retail investors tends to rather decline. It's the same for medium-sized retail, it's the same for the whales. Now the number of whales got cut in half roughly, maybe even fell by 60%. The number of small retail didn't fall that much. So it was indeed again a case of the whales dumping on retail, right? The whales made more money. This was a transfer from the not so sophisticated players to the much more skilled players in crypto, right? Crypto is both a game of luck and skill. And the more skilled you are, the more the capital will concentrate towards you. But let's look at the even larger wallets. On the left side, that's the number of wallets that have at least 30,000 tokens. So that's now roughly $1 million worth of the token. Again, this went up a lot and then fell by more than 50%, but then stabilized. But have a look at another 10x. That's now 10 million worth of the token. This is where we actually see growth. And that's probably what's stabilizing the price. The wallets that have 10 million or even more, right? The centralized exchanges and the market makers of this world, they are taking advantage of those low prices. Now, crypto as a whole is clearly expanding right now. The stablecoin market cap is going up. That means that people are sending their fiat currency indirectly, for example, through centralized exchanges to the stablecoin issuers. So whenever money is flowing into crypto, we see the stablecoin market cap going up. Whenever money is flowing out of crypto, we tend to see the stablecoin market caps going down. Over here is the Terra Luna collapse. So this is when UST went bust. Afterwards, we had the FTX collapse. And then since October of 2023, we are expanding again. So money is flowing into crypto. People are sending their fiat to the issuers. And then we can see that issuance here on chain. Now, had you bought Bitcoin in October of 2023, the gains would have been nice. So that's an appreciation of 281% in the span of a bit over a year. But then there's of course inherent leverage in smaller tokens, right? It takes a lot of money to move Bitcoin. It doesn't take that much money to move something like Fartcoin, for example. Fartcoin, since listing on CoinMarketCap, went up by 18,000%. Isn't that better than just holding Bitcoin? The art is of course to find something like Fartcoin early, right? To be among the insiders, to be among the people that tend to make the right trades. And here is how I personally find those tokens early. I made a video on Fartcoin very early on this channel, and the way I did this is I got an alert that Kyle Chessy bought the token at 5 cents. That was on October 23rd, and I got that alert via on-chain analysis. So through various techniques we can find what influencer owns what kind of wallet, and then we can get those wallets and get alerts whenever those wallets transact. And so for Kyle Chessy, for example, we've got 12 wallets that we are following. Here is his YouTube channel. He's got 141,000 subscribers. And this is how the price developed since that alert, right? A very nice gain, much better than just buying and holding Bitcoin. And also over a shorter time period, right? This is October of 2024, and the crypto expansion started in October of 2023. So 1 year since that alert. And so really, this is, I believe, how to make money. It's very important to have an edge in the market, to know more than the rest. It's not enough to just buy the largest of the tokens, because again, it's all about the upside. Have a look at the top performing meme tokens in the last 7 days. It's all relatively small market caps. It's in the tens of millions, maybe hundreds of millions. Each and every single token made at least 100% in the last week. This is very different to the largest meme coins, right? Not a single one of those tokens made 100% in the last week. It's really about buying those small tokens and buying them early, knowing those tokens before others do, knowing those tokens when the smart money is buying in as well. And so I just bought another token today. This time crypto god John bought the token for $50,000. And we don't necessarily need to get the best traders always, right? It's just enough to follow traders that have a lot of followers, right? Crypto god John has 775,000 followers. When he talks about a token, of course this generates attention, and attention leads to purchases, and purchases lead to rising prices. It's not even necessarily about following the smartest people. It's just about following the people that have other people that follow them, so that we simply have purchases after our purchase. Since that alert, the price of that token more than doubled already. And so we're not just following Kyle Chessy and crypto god John. Another influencer that has very high risk plays is Crypto Gains. He's got 144,000 subscribers. He buys into very small tokens as well, and he's got a very loyal following. And we've got 55 of his wallets. He's changing wallets more often than other people change their underwear, so this is why the number is so inflated. But we've also got wallets by the really big guys, the people that might not buy the super micro caps, but that have a lot of following to still move even bigger tokens. For example, Crypto Banter, 1.4 million subscribers, and 33 wallets of them are tracked by us. I really like this strategy. That's why I made a dedicated tutorial course just on that topic. How can we find influencer wallets? So there are several approaches. How can we then also track those wallets, and how can we finally interpret the signals that we get from the tracking? It's all part of the premium membership of this channel. Premium is not just about wallet tracking, it's also about risk mitigation. It's also about on-chain analytics, right? The charts that we have seen in this video. There are more than 100 tutorial videos in total in premium. So feel free to check it out. It's currently $165 per month. There's also a 1-week money back guarantee. So in case you don't like premium, just message me within the first 7 days and I'll refund you 100%. There's really zero risk for you. Now, since the market makers are buying, since the whales are accumulating while the small retail investor that's in losses is cutting those losses, does it make sense to follow that smart money? Does it make sense to buy the Trump token now? There is, of course, some worry about holding the token long term, and that's the tokenomics. It has been discussed time and time again. Currently, the circulating supply is 200 million Trump tokens, and at one point, this will be 1 billion tokens. The first unlock will happen in the middle of April, so 3 months from now. And at that point in time, it will be very interesting to see how the market will react. Because usually the common narrative is that when the supply is expanding a lot, that then the price should in theory be dumping, right? Because more supply with very little additional demand should mean a lowering price. But here's the thing, crypto isn't that straightforward. These kind of dynamics work over the very long term, but short term there's always player versus player. If now enough people bet on a falling Trump price in the middle of April of this year, there's enough people that have short interest in the token. That then means that the market makers might be buying up the token even faster, pushing up the price and then force liquidating all the short sellers. So there is a real chance that we will see a short squeeze in the middle of April, that we see suddenly the price spiking up. What will be interesting to watch at that point is What are the interest rates on the perpetual futures on the Trump token? Is there a lot of interest in shorting the token? If the answer is yes, it might make sense to actually buy. Apparently, the mega whales, the people that have more than 10 million worth of the token, they are not afraid of the token inflation. They think that the market can absorb this. Now, if you're one of the late adopters that bought Trump too late, you're probably not as bad off compared to those guys here. This is the biggest losers on the Trump token on chain. There was one holder that bought $1.1 billion worth of Trump, and that's down 410 million on that. So that's just the realized loss. There's another 8 million unrealized loss. There's another mega whale with 400 million, that's down 55. Another one with 23 million purchases, lost pretty much everything, potentially with leverage. And so yes, the tendency is true. The whales tend to make the better calls, but there are also people with a lot of money that sometimes burn themselves quite heavily. Nothing is safe in crypto, right? It's always a bet of risk versus reward. It's always trying to play the expected value game. It's all about estimating probabilities. It's all about using models and using information that most people don't have, trying to find approaches that over the long term are profitable. Now, how much more upside potential is there for the Trump token now that the price is somewhat depressed? Let's have a look at other Solana meme coins. Trump is at number 1. It's more than 3 times the size of the second contender, Bonk. And so it's very hard to estimate within Solana how much higher Trump could go. However, if we look at all blockchains, and so we include Ethereum, then there is also Shiba Inu and Dogecoin. And Shiba Inu is roughly 50% larger than official Trump, and Dogecoin is roughly 7 times larger than official Trump. Now, the Trump launch had a lot of impact on the entire Solana ecosystem. The dominance of Solana within crypto, so how much market cap does Solana have relative to all of crypto, that went up by 27%, or roughly 0.8 percentage points, from 2.7 to 3.5%. And so maybe the market needs a bit of a breather, because that Trump rally over here, right, when we zoom out on the Solana dominance, it shows us a picture where SOL might be comparatively heated. What we had over here was the FTX collapse that led Solana to underperform by more than 84%. And we have never seen Solana being more than 4% of all of crypto. And so that then of course also has an impact on the Trump token, right? When Solana goes down by 10%, then all of the liquidity pools that have SOL versus Trump will also put some selling pressure on the Trump token. It's very hard to pinpoint the exact bottom of the Trump token, but the whales are accumulating. In other words, it probably might make sense to dollar cost average in potentially. The token is unlikely going to zero because all of the centralized exchanges own a lot of the supply, and it will likely pump whenever Trump does something pro-crypto. So this is a straightforward political play. It's to be bought when everything is quiet, when nobody trades the token, and it's to be sold when all the attention is back on Trump and he does something nice. At least for the crypto investors, of course. If you got some value out of this video, feel free to subscribe. I publish videos regularly. A like would be very much appreciated as well. It helps the channel grow. See you in the next video, or see you in premium. Cheers!